Cupid, draw back your bow and let your arrow go straight to the gorilla glue for me.
Tall and powerful.
That's what I'm talking about.
And we've started the show with our Valentine's serenades.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's right, man.
Hopefully, it was a good one for everybody.
Yeah, totally, man. I didn't think about it until I actually woke up. It was strange because I was looking at the clock 2 days ago. And as usually happens to me on February 13th, I'm like, it's Cinderella's birthday. But then it didn't occur to
Yep.
me what the next day would be. And it's like, oh, yeah, man. Oh, crap. I forgot to buy candy. But oh, wait, it'll be on sale tomorrow. So I'm
Oh,
all
yes.
excited, man.
I just finished all my Halloween stuff. Now I get to go get some more.
Absolutely.
Ah,
Where's my check, Joe? Come on. I got things to buy. I need
yep.
my stimulus check so I can go buy cheap candy.
It is my birthright.
That's right, man. That's what it's meant to be. Hey, voted for you for a reason, Joe. Don't let me down. Call.
It's the same thing that people bitch and moan about at Halloween. Like, they've already got their Christmas stuff out, and I'm going to go out to buy cheap Halloween candy. Like, well, might as well get some Reese's eggs.
Totally, man. You know, while I'm here.
You're already here. I mean, I wouldn't want to be rude.
Me and my shopping pleasure.
Well, yeah, well, give me some of them too. I recommend.
Christmas trees. Okay, that's fine. I'll take those. I'll take those.
Yep. Man, I got up and I don't hate on Valentine's Day the way some people I know do. It's fine enough holiday. It's a nice little holiday after the holidays. And I was gonna watch the 500s day, then freaking rain came, kind of ruined all that stuff. But it's still going on now.
Yeah.
So, but no report on who won, so I'll just assume Denny Hamlin did. It's a fair guess.
As far as Valentine's Day is concerned, man, my honest opinion of Valentine's Day, it's kind of like this is more. It happens more often, but it was kind of like Christmas lights this past season,
Mm-hmm.
where I don't typically have a problem with anybody putting up Christmas lights whenever they want to. I don't care if you leave them up till June because that would be a pain in the butt to go get them.
Yep.
That's fine. But this year in particular, or last year, excuse me, in particular, man, when people had like lights on before Halloween, I'm like, as crappy as 2020's been, man, if looking forward to decorating for Christmas is getting you through, then you go right ahead.
String them up, brother.
I feel that way about Valentine's Day every year because I'm like, February sucks. February is a crap month because the weather sucks everywhere and it's cold and I'm miserable and I hate it. So, hey, man, if the day right in the middle of the month is you get an excuse to buy chocolate in the middle of a crap month, go right ahead, man. I think that's cool. And it's because March doesn't have a Valentine's Day. So I know February's better and Valentine's Day is one of the reasons it's better.
Yep. Yep. I still, to this day, don't understand the big Hershey kiss.
Yeah.
That it's one of those that maybe if it was hollow, I could understand it. But then if it's hollow, you feel like you're getting gypped. But when they make the solid, big 4 pound or whatever it is Hershey kiss, I'm like, that is going to be disgusting by the time you get halfway through it.
Yep, I agree.
There's no way you can do it all in one sitting. I've tried, but it's one of those like, okay, you get 3 or 4 bites in, you're like, oh god, this is way too much chocolate. Put it in the fridge, and it is ass. It is one of those that it does not come back well for round two.
I can dig it, man. This is to anybody watching the show that's um, an internet kid, a youngling, a millennial, whatever you want to call yourself.
Mhm.
Pardon me. This is what your 40s are when you realize that the big Hershey kiss. I can't get through that.
I can't get down with that.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. Being 40 means is like
Yeah,
that's far too much chocolate.
that's terrible. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, my candy. My buddies and I, and you and I talk about it too, man. ratio is all that matters. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. It's the reason that whenever you start jacking up sizes, sometimes it don't work. It's why, like, for Reese's, I love the eggs. I'm with you. I think the eggs are
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. And even like the classic Reese's peanut butter cup, I like
Mm-hmm.
the little ones better. The fun size ones, that's where it's at. I just,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, the regulars are fine, but
Mm-hmm.
I want that chunk of peanut butter, man, which you get from the egg and you get from the little mini ones, man. Those are not,
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say the minis because those are the real little ones, and they're too much chocolate. But
Mm-hmm.
the fun, I guess, fun size. I think everybody knows what I mean when I say that.
Yeah.
It's the absolute perfect balance between the two. I'll give you another example. A regular Snickers bar, fantastic. Fun
Mm-hmm.
size Snickers bar might be even better than that, but the little half ones, they're
Oh
awful.
yeah.
They're
Oh
awful,
yeah.
man. The only one I've found that survives pretty much through any transition is Three Musketeers. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess it's because it's only two things. But I don't know. Maybe it's because that's not fair because Reese's is only two things too. But man, that peanut butter chocolate ratio is way more important than chocolate to chocolate nougat. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to use the Maria Bamford pronunciation. It's not even really tuna. It's just this weird fishy nougat. Think about gas station tuna fish sandwiches. I know we've had this discussion before. I don't think we've ever said it on here. Stand-up comedy is not something it's not something I realized I wasn't a particular fan of until
Mm-hmm.
much later on in life. But the people that I like, I really like. And
Oh yeah.
Maria Bamford is the best stand-up I've ever heard, and it's because there's nothing else like it, and she's just awesome. So just wanted to put a plug in for Maria real quick.
Oh man, she's always good to catch up with and see what she's doing.
Yeah, well, I love discussing it with the man because you turned me on to her. I'd never heard of her before, man. It was when we were watching, oh, for Pete's sake,
A comedian's comedy
thank you. All I could
documentary.
think of was Kings of Comedy. I was like, I
Yeah.
know it's something of comedy, but yeah, it's like that was the first time I ever saw her, and I'm like, who in the crap is this? She is
Oh yeah.
hilarious, man.
Man, that was there was a whole trend of the whatevers of comedy
Yeah, yeah,
that
totally.
came out of that Spike Lee movie. But when they did the comedians and comedy show on Comedy Central, I was like, man, I freaking love this. And then did. I'm still a DVD person, so I had to get that when I came across it. Oh, I remember this. Got to catch up with these guys again.
Yeah, totally, man.
But man, there was an NXT show tonight, and I looked up and caught, turned it on to see what I wanted to see, and I was like, oh, great, that worked out perfect.
Heck yeah,
I
man.
because I always forget how early they'll start. Number one, and I think it started at like freaking 7 Eastern, and I don't turn it on until 9 o'clock, just in time to see Finn getting into the ring.
Yeah.
So it's Finn and Pete Dunne
Oh
beating
God.
the teetotal hell out of each
I was
other.
gonna say, man. Look, here's the thing. I understand just from here up, because from here down, Finn Balor looks like Michelangelo. It's unbelievable. But from here up, I get it, man. Finn's a pretty guy. He is. Finn's a good-looking cat.
Mm-hmm.
But that guy has got to be the most overcooked steak in pro. That guy's the toughest dude in the freaking world. After the O'Reilly
Yeah,
matches, so I'm like, yeah, Pete Dunne, great, let's do that. Oh my God, man! I'm like, this.
yeah.
That guy's awesome, man.
So, uh, like a lot of people, considering the day it fell on, I was just waiting. Like, oh, they're going to announce it's St. Valentine's Day, NXT St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and they didn't do that. So it was NXT Vengeance Day is what they called it.
Oh,
So
okay.
like,
Vengeance Time
all right,
Day.
that works. Whatever. So, but it was still a heck of a match, brother.
Yeah.
Uh, and this and it was really one of those. It's one of those that you watch it like this is just exhausting.
God dang, y'all.
Just watching these two guys beat the crap out of each other, and uh, Finn keeps his title. in the ring. He's beating Pete Dunne, and you have Oni Lorcan and Thatcher run in to give Finn Balor what for, and they're beating the crap out of Finn. It's like, okay, who's going to save Finn? And they went bottom. It's like, who's gonna, because he was already going up the ramp, and they went bottom third on that ass. And so that's when Oni Lorcan and Thatcher come out and do their thing. And so the Undisputed Era music hits, and all right. And I'm not thinking Finn's going to join the Undisputed, but they come out and they run Thatcher and Lorcan off, and it's Adam Cole, Roderick Strong. Behind them is Finn and Kyle O'Reilly, and Kyle O'Reilly's the one that's extending the hand, like, trust us, brother. Come on, trust us. And so after a few seconds, Finn does the handshake, and they're all lined up, throwing up the Undisputed Era thing, and Finn's doing his bang thing. Just in time, gets the gun just in time for Adam Cole to super kick the shit out of him.
Sounds about right.
And so, but Kyle is, doing like, what the hell did you do that for? I just got him to trust us, and he gets one too. Boom! So that leaves Adam Cole to walk off, and Roderick Strong to be like, who am I going to ride home with?
And dude, that was my ride.
What's
going on, Adam?
What did you do that for? I don't even have car keys with me.
Couple of things. One, I like everything I just heard. I love it. Two, I said a couple. I'm a liar. Two, if we are now going to do Adam Cole, Finn Balor, for the love of God, please hook me up. Hook me up, because, pardon me, that was something you and I talked about a long time ago as far as wanting to see. And I only say it that way because I think we were pretty good about explaining that when we start fantasy booking stuff, it's not this is what they should do, and it's what they should do next. It's what they should do now. It's what they should be doing. That's not what we're trying to do at all. I'm just talking about what I want to see. Yeah. Eventually, it's fine. Whatever you do, it is fine. But that was our thing with Adam Cole being the champ, is I love the idea of, I do this all the time. I know I've talked about it before. We discussed it before with the whole, I wish it was Asuka instead of Charlotte Flair that wrestled Rhea Ripley. With NXT, you've been called up. You're in the big leagues now. The idea of champions coming back to make the new champs look bad, dude, that is territory 101. That's awesome. I love it. So I keep doing it because I think it works all the time. Yeah. And so if we're going to get to Adam Cole and Finn Balor, I would love to see that. That would be so cool. And so I'm glad to hear that's where we're moving to. And on the subjects of both NXT and things that always work and are always fun, dude, this is something that I will not be able to explain how much I like it or how pleased I was when I heard about it. And also, this is stupid, but it's nice when people enjoy stuff. It's cool when people are into something. But dude, okay. Your character in wrestling who's loaded, it's got all the money, talking all that junk, la-di-da, okay. Versus your Beverly Hillbillies character who then gets a tip to buy AMC and GameStop stock. And now you've got Cameron Grimes, the $1 Million Man Cameron Grimes. I love that storyline.
Straight ain't never derailed, baby.
That is so cool. I could not explain. I don't know who came up with it. I love that they thought of it. They greenlit it so fast, and they've got it rolling already. I love it. I think it's such an awesome idea because, rich guy jerk in wrestling. I mean, we've done that 10,000 times. Oh, man, the backwoods tough guy. We've done that 1,000 times. But putting them together, I guess it's just because it's that guy. I know we're both massive Cameron Grimes fans, but, dude, I love it. I was so happy when I read that. I'm like, oh, my God, that is so perfect and ingenious and simple, and I never would have thought of it. I don't think any of us saw it coming, and it's like that is so awesome. I love it,
Yeah.
man.
It just always feels like the thing that we
Excuse me.
can never do. We can't use something that's happening in the real world in the storyline. Why the heck not?
I love it. Yeah, do you look up and you see GameStop going through the roof? It would have been awesome if Cameron Grimes invested in that, and then that's what you go with. I love it. That's so cool, man.
Who on our roster is dumb?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I got a guy. I got a guy for you.
Hey,
I
I'm
said,
sorry, man.
I said Timothy Thatcher. That was part of the run. It was actually Danny Birch. My
Man,
fault.
it's okay. Dude, it's quite all right.
I get all those British shaved head guys confused.
A lot of dudes with classic Tommy Billington wrestler hair. It's hard to keep up with all of them, man.
So if anybody's interested on anything else that happened on the show, you had Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez won the women's Dusty Rhodes final over Ember Moon and Shotzi. Gargano defeated Kushida. Then we had MSK won the men's Dusty Rhodes final over the Grizzled Young Vets. And Io Shirai kept her title over Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. And then we beat Dunn and Finn Balor in the main event.
One thing, this is stupid. Excuse me. But I was really, really happy that the men's Dusty final was 2 tag teams. Not a super team, not 2 solo guys, but 2 actual tag teams. That was awesome. I'm glad they did. So whoever won, I was okay with. MSK, I'm real okay with. That's totally awesome.
Yep.
Pardon me. Sorry, y'all. Shotzi Blackheart being like super hot right now is awesome because she seems very cool. So I'm all right with that. This is old news. I just haven't mentioned it before, so we'll talk about it now. I'm so happy that Ember Moon is back in the ring.
Heck yeah.
Because I was worried about her for a little while, man. It's like all the news you kept hearing was really negative.
Yeah.
So not only is she like back, but she's back, and it's like that's awesome. I made a face on the women's Dusty final, and I don't mean to be that way. It's just that I like Shotzi and Ember, so it's all good. But my other thing with that is Dakota Kai is. We've talked about it before, man. If you watch Up, Down, Down, it's weird. I talk about Up, Down, Down like it's Being the Elite because it's like you watch Being the Elite, it adds more to the storyline, and Up, Down, Down is not supposed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked about it with Dakota Kai, man. I don't know. I guess it's just the Australian thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what acting school she went to, man, but it's just bizarre. It is bizarre how different. I mean, she physically looks like a different freaking person. It's unreal because she's such a nice, she's just so cool.
That's what Up, Down, Down adds. It makes you like people that you never would expect to.
Totally, because you're just seeing them. I'm totally with like the perfect example of that, man, is freaking Baron Corbin when he gets on telling stories about traveling up and down the road with Tyler Breeze. I mean, it's just half the stuff he says is just, I don't remember who it was now, man. It was Breeze and somebody else. And they're all just hanging out. It's Tyler Breeze and whoever he's talking about, and Xavier Woods and Baron Corbin. And I wish I could remember what it is that's said, but they just start kind of like doing all this junk and talking crap, and Baron looks over and he's like totally serious. He looks over and Xavier was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what they do. We go out and we're on the road and they're mean to me together. I don't know why mean to me together was so hilarious, but it was. Yep. And it's funny too because you've seen Baron Corbin. He's huge, so he's all like, help me out. These guys are mean to me, man. They're jerks. It was freaking awesome, dude. I can't stand Baron Corbin. He bores the crap out of me, but I like the guy. It's cool. Like, all right, go on, dude.
Yeah.
Have you seen that picture, by the way? There's a picture on the internet of, I can't remember what team it was now, man. Whatever NFL team Baron Corbin used to play for. But it's just a picture of him in his jersey and, you know, hey, I'm in the program and it's all good. And it's one of those funky things because he's this huge guy. He's got his nice little beard, kind of like mine. And I mean, dead in the face, the guy looks like he's 7 years old. It's amazing because some dudes are like that. Some guys just have that baby face, man, to where even when Brian McCann had like a full on, straight up beard, and he still looked like he was playing, t-ball. I think that's cool, man.
Let's see. The Cardinals. He said he was on the Cardinals squad, and maybe the Colts, and then the Cardinals.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think it was. I almost said St. Louis, Arizona.
yeah. It's still St. Louis to me.
Yeah, dude, I get it wrong, man. Until I remember St. Louis lost both their football teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I've been out of being the elite for a long time for that exact reason. Where to me it doesn't add anything because it's just it feels like a bunch of guys that we just don't have the same sense of humor.
Yeah,
that's like, man, this stuff just is not funny to me at all. And the crap that people like, I'm just like, I don't get it.
That's been the discussion I've had with my buddies that are into AEW and like that show. That's always my assessment too. Is like, look, man, it's not a criticism. I'm with you. It's not a criticism. It's just an assessment, man. Our sense of humor is different. It's okay, man. I love being the elite because it is another avenue for people to get into that show. And clearly the people that like that show, it adds to their enjoyment of the other show. And that's awesome. I'm just not one of those people. And that's okay because I like it anyway. So it's okay.
I liked the show a lot more when it was a travel blog.
Yeah.
Essentially. And when it became storylines, it started to lose me. But when AEW started, it really has lost me altogether. Where it's like, man, I'm just not into any of this.
Yeah, well, with AEW, it's just another thing. It's just one of those things where I've said for the longest time, man, that I thought the perfect example of, I mean, you get people getting all huffy about, well, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Jacksons, all you need to know about those guys is that they are of Generation Twitter. And those guys learned how to monetize it real early. Cabana might have been first, but boy, the Young Bucks figured it out real early. It's something you and I talk about. I think that one of the things the Bucks do right, and this could just be us because I've never heard anyone else discuss this, but hey, man, I got no problem. Barry Horowitz and myself, I love to talk about this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't need anyone to tell me I'm right. I'm jerky enough about it as it is. But the point that I've made before about what I think like Cornette's genuine problem with wrestling at the moment is, and it's the big psychology gap. The point being that when he was brought into the business, the punchline was the fans. So now that fans are in on the joke, it pisses him off, and it pisses people like him off. Like, well, this was my club. I was on the inside. You're on the outside. There is no outside anymore because you can't do it. And you can't do the outside anymore because your boy Vince McMahon, who you will never throw under the bus, but who, whether you like it or not, ruined wrestling as you know it with your precious territory system. I've always said, and I'll stand by it, the idea of trying to pretend that Kenny Omega and Matt and Nick Jackson messed up the territory system, that's where Corny and I fall apart.
Yeah.
Because your boy, your guy that
they didn't even start till years after it was over with.
Those guys were fucking children when that happened. It's like, dude, they were being born right around the time that Vince was breaking that up. So it's like that trying to conflate those things and trying to pretend that's the same thing. That's where me and Cornette get disconnected. And mainly, like I say, it's because he loves to go on this show and talk about how, I don't need a paycheck from Tony Khan. I don't need his money. I've got my own money. I don't need his money. You don't need Tony Khan's money because you took money from Vince McMahon, who was that guy that actually did ruin wrestling. So that it's all good. I'm glad that you've saved your money. Good for you. But the fact of the matter is you want to act like, well, I'm above it. I don't need to work with these people. Yes, because you work with the guy worse than them. Worse. Everyone knows it. Everybody knows it, man. So anyway. Good Lord, sorry. I had way too much dinner tonight. It was fantastic. Oh my God. I've wanted I'm a huge fan of the Bertolli bagged Italian stuff. I love that stuff. And I've wanted the chicken carbonara for, a week and a half. And I finally went and got it. And ate too much of it and drank too much of this, and I'm just happy as a pig in crap over here.
Delicious.
Anyway, sorry, I got way sidetracked on that. But that's my issue with Cornette is not liking what Omega does, not liking what the Young Bucks. I understand all that. The problem is he's made it very clear that his issues with them is personal. Because well, they worked in companies that I worked at, and they were disrespectful. Like I know, because there's other guys whose asses you will openly kiss that work that exact same style, do the exact same stuff, have the exact same attitude. They just weren't. They didn't, stub the sanctimonious toes of Jim Cornette, and that's the problem I've got is that it's all personal and emotional, and I hate stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The complete lack of objectivity. Anyhow, I'm sorry, I got way sidetracked, and I don't even know what I was talking about, man. But I can end it on a positive note, and the positive note is I'm glad the NXT show was good. I'm very happy with it. Just a couple of again before they even booked the final. When I heard who was in the final, I'm like, God, that's awesome because I think it's great that Finn Balor and Samoa Joe won the first one. That still makes me happy, but that's cool that. Like, yeah, man, we got a tag team now. Like, okay, excellent.
Yeah. So now just that's one I'll obviously get back and watch all of it, but I just really just wanted to see that tonight, and it's kind of worked out for me a lot better than I thought would. Timed it perfectly.
I can, you know what? Honestly, I think just for me personally, I think that the way you've done it, I honestly think for me, if I'd watched the entire show, I'd have been so distracted waiting for Finn Balor and Pete Dunne that I wouldn't have took it in. So I think that's really cool. I mean, it's going to work out even better because now you cut right to it. You've seen that one, and now you can watch everybody up to then and then watch that again. That's going to be awesome. That's really cool, man.
Yeah. Now I can just enjoy it.
Dude, I've done that before, man, where there's been several shows where when I watched them the second time, like match 2, match 3, I'm like, God, why do I not remember how good this was? Man, this is awesome. And that's totally what it is I'm sitting around waiting for, oh, man, Benoit Hunter HBK, let's go, man.
Man, it's that story that I like to tell the time me and my brother went to see, got to go see the Rolling Stones. And it's there's no tougher job in the rock and roll world than opening for the Rolling Stones. There ain't, no matter how many people were in that crowd, it's like 20 something thousand people at Turner Field. Ain't nobody there come to see you.
No one wants to see you.
And so everybody, the whole time they're playing, is like this. We had that notion in our head, like, if y'all just stopped playing, Mick would be on stage right now.
For real. He's not here because of you.
the band that was playing was No Doubt.
It sounds, yeah.
And they hadn't quite hit the pinnacle yet. I think Rocksteady had just come out, was getting ready to come out. So, but they were still big enough to open for the Stones, and that's saying something. But at the same time, nobody was there to see Gwen. Nobody was there to see any of those guys. So everybody just going, whatever. No, but this idea that if you just stop paying,
for real,
Keith will be out there. They'll be like,
this is the worst opening act I've ever seen. No doubt.
Just knowing attitude. That they could quit after one song. You can just sit and look at an empty stage till Mick decides he wants to come out.
Absolutely,
it ain't like that. but in to this day, going to shows, I'm like, if y'all just stop, and they'd be here. How am I doing that? So, but it's one of those things. I wish I could go back and watch it because I'm sure it was awesome. But at the time, I was kind of like, it's stupid. God.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen any opening bands that were worthwhile. I know that one of us have like one in common where we went to the Lenny Kravitz show where Pink was opening to see Pink, and then I love Lenny, but that's not what we went for. So once Pink was done, we left.
Yep. Yep.
Who else did I see? I saw, it's interesting that No Doubt opened for the Rolling Stones, because like the biggest God level rock band I've ever seen is U2. And it wasn't Bush, but it was Gavin Rossdale's new band that was opening for them. It was around I think they were married at that time, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
The not so Bush.
Yeah, for real, man.
Yeah.
It was oh man, what would it be? It was W. Bush.
Yeah.
Who have I seen that opened for people? I saw a band. I went to see Local H at the Cotton Club one night, and a band called the Super Jesus opened for them, and they were real good, man. It's like just run-of-the-mill generic '90s rock and roll with a girl lead singer, but it was really, they were quite good, to the point that, you know, you did buy the CD at the merch table and then take it home and listen to it, and it was good. It was interesting because the song they closed with, I'm like, what was that? Turns out it's the first song on the album. It was their first single, so it's cool. Okay, finished the show strong, but it worked out great not having to find it. But I've still got that album, man. It was good. They were real good. I liked them. And oh shoot, I don't know, man.
Another one that always comes to mind when talking about openers, and it's not a fair show to really say, oh yeah, I saw this guy open for them, but because they had like 4 or 5 different openers, but it was the Summer Sanitarium tour that Metallica did, and honest to God, I remembered like Korn played and Kid Rock played. It was years after the fact that I realized that one of the first bands that was on stage was System of a Freaking Down.
Oh yeah.
And it was one of those bands that at the time had no idea what they'd go on to be. But that's probably the biggest one of any opener that I could say went on to be something.
Yeah.
That was like, that's somebody that really I would like to see now. But at the time had no clue who they were. And I'm sure it was one of those bands that everybody was like, might as well call this one Beer Run.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, that's the two that always stand out in my mind as I got to see them and really didn't appreciate it.
Yeah, I can dig it, man. My favorite experience. This is more of like, it's closer to the Pink experience, but it's not that I went to see them. I went to see the headliner, but I've seen. I'm pretty sure it's twice. I've seen Pearl Jam twice. I saw them once at Lakewood. I don't remember who opened. I don't know if anybody opened, to be honest with you. I just don't know. Then I saw them at Phillips. And the Phillips show, it's really weird because that was around the time that they were putting out like every show they did. You could get them through like the website and stuff like that. Okay. And so they had the ones that had the little
evolution. It's a neat idea.
Yeah, it really was. I think so too. I think that's just awesome. But they had the ones that had the little evolution monkey to man little thing on the back. And they would stamp the shows that they liked the best with that mark. And that Phillips Arena show got one. And I'll never understand why, because it wasn't good when I saw them. It wasn't good when I played it back. I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
But I don't mean to crap on it. I guess my problem was that the Lakewood show was unreal. I had a great night. It was awesome. And then I guess this is really stupid, but if I'm being honest, maybe this is it. The Lakewood show was Yield, and I love that album. Still love that one. And then the Phillips Arena show was Binaural. I like that record too. Binaural's actually really good, but there's one song on Binaural that's called Sleight of Hand. That is my favorite Pearl Jam song ever. And they did not play it. And I understand why. It's not the easiest one to recreate, but I think that maybe selfishly on some level I was hoping they would play it and that they didn't. I'm like, oh, this show wasn't good, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was a great show. It was fine. I guess the thing is, I've long said this, and I say long because it took me so many years to figure this out. When people say a band is good live, what most, or at least some people, mean when they say that is very different than what I mean when I say it. For example, people will tell you that Pearl Jam's a great live band. Nirvana, I always thought Nirvana live was great. I always loved Nirvana live. Pearl Jam, take it or leave it. And then I realized all they're talking about is the vocals. That's it. That's all they mean, because Kurt was either on or he wasn't. Eddie's always on. So I'm like, that's what people mean when they say Pearl Jam's a great live band, because it is always, the instrumentation that's messed up. It either sounds good or they sound like crap. But Eddie always sounds great, and I'm like, I got you. Now I got you. Now I understand. Anyway, that's a long way to say that one of the best things ever happened to me is when I went to Phillips Arena to watch Pearl Jam. Sonic Youth opened for them.
Sweet.
And it was god awful because it's Sonic Youth playing in a gigantic basketball arena, so you can't hear anything. You can't make heads or tails of any of it. So it sounded awful, but it was them, and it was all four of them. And I'm like, I was so happy I got to see that because I love them. And I'm like, I don't even care that this isn't good. It's Sonic Youth, man.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine about that because she was like, "How was Sonic Youth?" And I'm Sonic Youth. Like, yeah, well, my friend was at the show and she said they were awful. I'm like, well, it's Sonic Youth playing in a basketball arena. Of course, it sounded like shit, but it was still Sonic fucking Youth. I'm glad I got to see them, man. I mean, come on, that was awesome, dude.
It's the experience is sometimes the thing.
It was them, hey, dude. That's all I cared about. It was them. I was in the same room. We good, man.
It's hard. It's hard for me to imagine somebody playing in Phillips Arena and it sounded bad, but it doesn't fit every band.
Not every style, yeah, man. Don't work for everybody. And even like Pearl Jam, again, they sounded great. It was just the instrumentation is like they either play too quick or it's too weird. But Eddie sounded awesome, so it's like I totally get that. But yeah, that's all it is just what Sonic Youth does musically. It works a little bit better if you're in a smaller club, and therefore just going through fewer speakers, man, because it's just that's not what they play.
The first show that I ever saw at the Tabernacle, I was scared because you think, okay, it's a Tabernacle, it's an old church in downtown. All I've ever heard is how awesome the acoustics are. And the first show I ever get to see, it was the opener. It was a band called Grease Paint, and their gimmick was they all had clown makeup on, and it sounded god awful. And I was like, oh no. All the stories I've heard are not true, but it was the difference when you had the opening act who, I guess their sound people were not quite as professional as Tenacious D's.
Yeah.
When Tenacious D came out, oh, that's what it's supposed to sound like. And so I was pleasantly surprised, when the professionals came out and plugged their stuff in. Like, oh, it does sound amazing in here.
Dude.
It just takes some. I don't know who you blame. I don't know if it's sound people or just talent or what. But it was a night and day of somebody didn't know what they were doing.
I can dig it, man. Mm-hmm. I've seen one show, because I'm with you. All I've ever heard about the Tabernacle was like, oh my God. I've seen one show there, and it was Sigur Rós. And I will never go see anybody else ever there because what's the point? I've been to church and met God, and it was unreal, dude. Sigur Rós is an unbelievable band anyway. And it was cool because the thing was, I had a buddy, his name was Matt Owensby, man. And Matt was really, really into them. And I had heard a couple of tunes and knew a couple of things. It was all good. Just out of nowhere, he's like, man, we're going. We have to go to this show. I'm like, oh, awesome. Okay, man. So we went. And I mean, dude, they weren't on stage for 4 minutes before it's just like, what is happening? It was unbelievable, man. Mm-hmm. Unreal. I still, pardon me, Nine Inch Nails and Gwinnett is still the best show I've ever been to. Mm-hmm. Tell you what, man, Sigur Rós Tabernacle is, it's close. Yeah. On that subject, Nine Inch Nails had a band called Deer Hunter open for them. Now, there's two. There's Deer Hunter and the Deer, D-E-A-R Hunter. This was Deer Hunter, like someone that goes in the woods. And they were cool. It was cool. They were nice, man. But the main thing with them is that kind of the same thing where it's like, okay, guys, we're here to, and they got it too. They got it because the guitar player, I think it was the guitar player, one of the guitar players, is a girl, and she comes out and does the show in her cheerleader costume, and it's all good. And then she does like headstands and lets her skirt fall up over her head, and the audience is still like, "We're waiting on Trent." And I think that's when they realized, like, yeah, we got to get out of here. If like the 19-year-old girl can, put on a PG striptease, and the audience is like, okay, they're not into us. I think they got it.
Good luck.
I know I told you, man. That was the coolest thing about that show is that it was not sold out, and everybody that was there for I know I say all the time. It was amazing. That show is famous. That the Nine Inch Nails Gwinnett show is famous because they went Springsteen, man. I mean, they just played for freaking ever, man. It was awesome. That was an unbelievable thing. I loved it.
The Gwinnett Arena, Infinite Energy, whatever it's going to be called when we're allowed to go to shows again. That's another venue in Atlanta that is so underrated.
I think so too. Every time I've been for that was the only concert I've been to, and then I've been for wrestling shows. But whatever they put on, I'm like, I love this place. I'm totally with you, man.
Yeah, it's like a miniature State Farm arena. It's still the Phillips Arena as far as I'm concerned.
Me too. And I know we've had that discussion before too, man, particularly on Mutual Springsteen night. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people that don't care for shows at Phillips, and I'm with you. I'll never understand it. I've always had a good time there. Every show I've seen there, I enjoyed, man. It's cruddy to say that because I just trashed Pearl Jam, but it wasn't. They were just off that night, man. It just didn't do it for me, I should say. But again, it was because of the speed, and it was just everything was played too fast and just a little weird. Eddie sounded great though, man. If you're going to a Pearl Jam show to hear, I want to see if Eddie Vedder really sings like that, you'll be set. You'll love it. You'll have a great time because he's good, man.
Oh man, to this day, the last time I went to find it on YouTube, I couldn't find it, but for a long time, there's a Tom Petty documentary called "Running Down the Dream."
Oh yeah,
and
he steals everything from Ben Montana.
Yeah, and I'm taking Howie, Dale, get over it.
That's where Ben Mont's hat is still one of my favorite jokes that we've ever made, man. It's just that no one would ever understand why that was so funny. But I think both of us just had. My brother and I are like this too, man. But the stuff we think is funny, we think is funny for the same reason. And you just know when you're talking about it, it's like, I guarantee they're seeing that in their head the same way I am. And that's why Ben Mont just immediately cuts back and Petty's got the hat. You see him take it, he just got it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's little clips of it in the documentary. Then I think probably one of the features on the DVD is you can watch all of it. But there was a little run where Pearl Jam played with the Heartbreakers, and there's a clip of Eddie coming out and doing The Waiting.
Oh yeah! Oh God!
Will knock your dick stiff. It's so good.
It's true.
It is so good.
It was not one of the shows that I was at. I'm pretty sure there was Pearl Jam. I mean, they've got lots of famous live shows, but they've had two. Again, they love the one from Phillips Arena. Okay. But the one from the Fox that 99X ran on the radio, everybody knows that show. And I guess it's just because the bootleg was so easy to make. But any CD shop you went into that sold bootleg CDs had that show for years.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And I cannot remember what song it was they did. I want to say it was White Male American, but I don't know. It seems like it was one of the slower ones or something. But anyway, man, he had this thing where you just make lyrics up and do other things and like cover songs within songs. Man, he starts doing his REM tribute, and it's just like I think it's The Wrong Child is the name of that song, I think is what it is, man. So he just starts hitting that, I'm not supposed to be like this, I'm not supposed to be like this, but it's okay. And I mean, when Michael Stipe sings it, it's unbelievable. When Eddie does it, it's like, what just happened to me, man? Like just
Yeah,
thinking about it now, I'm like, whoa, man, it was a big deal, man.
yeah. What it's just not the same story, but similar. There's uh, one of the it, funny stories I remember from back in the day. I want to say it was like on IFC or one of those channels. Elvis Costello had his interview show called Spectacle, and it was, I want to say, most of all of them were recorded at the Apollo in New York. And one of the episodes I got to see was he sits down and he talks with Bruce. When they would, it was a neat show. I think it's still out there. It's probably on YouTube. But it's just a funny thing where they'll sit down and they'll discuss a few things, and they may do Costello's song. They may do a song of whoever he's interviewing, or they may do whatever they feel like doing. And it was he's sitting there with Bruce, and I don't remember if the conversation made him want to do this song, or if they did the song and he sits back down and has to comment. But they did. I honestly don't remember which song it was they did, but they did a Sam and Dave song, and that was the comment that Bruce said, as I think it was as they're getting it to do it, and he's like, "We are doing a Sam and Dave song here as two white men on the stage of the Apollo. We've got balls, my friend." So I mean, that story always just kind of sticks out, and for Eddie to be like, I think Atlanta's not Athens, but it's close enough. It's like in the Fox of all venues to do Michael Stipe tribute. Like, hey, if you're gonna do it, do it.
Hey, seriously, man. It's like, ooh, all right then.
Yeah.
REM is interesting in that that was always the group, or one of the groups that it was cool because a lot of people, a lot of my musical contemporaries, people that I taught music with all the time. REM is very much a breaking point for a lot of people. There's a lot of folks that do not like that band at all, and then those of us that do love them, absolutely
I,
love them.
I went through a phase when maybe it was just because they were local. I was just like, ugh, I don't like them. But then I finally got around to listen to it. It's like, okay.
I can dig it, man. It's REM was I mean, I told the story on here before that. Pardon me. The Revolution was my introduction to rock and roll, and some people still get huffy when I say that. I'm like, okay, you go back and watch those videos, and you tell me that ain't rock and roll. Okay, you can try if you want to, but you're never ever going to convince me.
Mm-hmm.
But REM was pretty early because the Stand video, I just thought that was the funkiest, coolest thing. I just loved it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And that was then, things as I got older and their music, I don't know, I didn't know the cool stuff. I just knew all the Warner Brothers stuff. And you get older and you listen to the cool stuff and it's like, this is awesome. And then you get to the early stuff where Michael's not singing, but you can't even hear him, and it's so cool. Like, that's neat. And then it turns out the guy can sing his balls. Stipe is so interesting too, man, because he's one of those people. It was interesting. We were just talking about Petty, where Tom Petty, when he's singing, versus Tom Petty when he does like an interview. It's amazing how the difference in and Michael Stipe's the exact same way, man, because his vocals are way up here, but when he does an interview, he talks like this. This is his normal speaking voice. It's amazing. I just think that's totally awesome. That it's like, oh yeah, but when I go to sing, my register goes up, 4 octaves or whatever. But REM is one of my favorite bands of all
surprising
time.
how different some people can sound.
Yeah, I think so too, man. It's like that's cool, y'all. Patti Smith is one that's like that, man. Where I mean, you wouldn't expect anyone to talk like Patti Smith's singing vocals, but I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked. It's weird though. I guess the Michael Stipe, Patti Smith thing, there's definitely a correlation because Michael Stipe has always said that is who he patterned his vocals off of. That's his hero. So I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Maybe that's subconsciously that's the link there. But yeah, dude, REM is that's one of the bigger bands of my life as far as like it's just weird because like I heard Stan when I was a little kid and I thought it was neat, and then I heard some more. Pardon me. Heard other things when I got older, and then Monster came out and I loved it.
Oh hell yeah!
Still do. And then after the fact, I found out that there was a song called Country Feedback, and then I went and listened to it, and I'm like, good God, are you kidding me? But it's something fascinating. I've always thought this is something really cool about that band is that Mike Mills is the secret weapon because he's like the bass player, who's also the organ player, who's also the backup vocalist. He's just awesome. But that's who I thought anyway. I thought, man, Mike Mills, the secret weapon. It turns out REM's secret weapon is actually Bill Berry. Brother, did you know Bill Berry wrote. Now, Michael Stipe writes all the lyrics, but when I say wrote, I mean wrote the music. Bill Berry wrote Country Feedback, Perfect Circle, and Man on the Moon. Your drummer wrote those songs. Like, dude,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Say
the end
something.
of that. That's totally,
Yeah.
so that's the end of that. If your drummer is musically gifted enough to write those songs, man, and I only say that because, I mean, drums are my favorite instrument to play. But the thing about drumming is, it's not to say it's not musical. It is. But playing the drums is almost more of an athletic event than it is. You don't normally have drummers create music. So when you do, it's really neat. And man, Bill's a bad sucker, man. Cold Christmas Tree Farmer in Athens.
Yeah.
That might not be right. I might be thinking to Chuck Level now that I've said that. But anyway, Bill is awesome. I just couldn't believe that. Like whenever I found out, like, oh yeah, most of the like ballads they have, Bill Berry. Like, get the heck out of here, man! You're kidding me. Oh, by the
Another
way,
thing.
anybody listening to this, man, if you don't know the REM song "Perfect Circle," go listen to it right now because it will make your day. If you've never heard "Perfect Circle" before, by all means, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it half as much as I do. That song is awesome. That was old too. That's from Murmur, man. Anyway, I interrupted you, man. I'm sorry.
Now, it's just a similar thing to what you're talking about is the difference in someone's singing voice and speaking voice.
Yeah.
It's like when you hear Tom Waits sit down and speak for an interview, you can actually understand the dude.
Sure.
And then when he goes to sing, it's kind of like, okay, which one's the act? Because I don't believe you really sound this way.
Yo, totally, man. It's like, I think Tom Waits' speaking voice is what he sounds like, and Tom Waits' singing voice is what he can sound like. If you can do it, do it. Knock it out, brother. Have fun. Go right ahead, man.
Yeah.
But it's I love that kind of stuff, man. It's weird. It's been a cool week for music. I've been watching a lot of like YouTube reaction videos. And my favorite category of reaction videos is sometimes you'll get like classical musician responds to whatever. But my favorite thing is hip hop kids listening to rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it for a particular reason. And I guess it's either luck or it's just the way it works out. But man, so many people, Lost in Vegas, we've talked about them before. Lost in Vegas is fantastic because those guys are so open-minded. They are just really interested in finding cool songs. They're a lot of fun, man. They're entertaining and they're fun anyway, man. But just the mindset they have about music in general is awesome. Dadgummit, I forgot my other guy's name. I can't believe I forgot it, man. Anyway, so dude, it's a lot of Metallica stuff, but I can't believe I forgot his dadgum name. I'll try to remember to put it in the comments later. And then
when Saturday Night Live did their version on Weekend Update of the kids listening to Phil Collins, I thought Lost in Vegas is who they were talking about. I didn't realize there was younger kids ripping them off.
Dude, seriously, man. Lost in Vegas. I've watched a couple of their videos lately, and it's old. It's all old stuff. But the first thing I saw for them was them watching the excuse me, the live video of Danny Carey playing the drums to Numa for Tool. Vic Firth did a video of him like playing that song live, and I've watched it like 1,000 times between just watching it and watching people react to it. Because I love Danny anyway. Danny's just unbelievable. But I was watching Lost in Vegas, and they knew Tool. They had heard Tool stuff before, so they were excited. And it's interesting because I don't remember their names, I'm sorry to say, but the dude that's always on the left is explaining. He's like, man, I've listened to this like 10,000 times. And what's so cool about it, excuse me, is he's telling you he knows the song, and he's seen that particular video, but he's still so excited about it. It's awesome. It's cool that it's like, man, you can really tell this dude like loves this because it's not new. It's not reacting to like the what's going on. You know what's coming, but it's still just I love that. And it juxtaposed with one I watched the other day, which interestingly enough was them watching One by Metallica, which it's always fun to see somebody hear that song for the first time because it's the closest I think you can get to hearing it yourself for the first time. But it's so cool. I love when people listen to that song, and it's just like that one of them. I don't remember their names because I suck. But the guy on the right, I thought made a really good point, and he's talking about when they get to the first chorus, first time you get the real hard riff, and you get to, "Oh please God, wake me." And when he says me and it holds that sustain and then it drops out, the music drops underneath and gets soft again. And he makes that point like, yeah, man, it sounds like it's about to go over the cliff and they bring it back down. And it's all like, that's because they know where it's going. And it's just so cool. Like, man, that's a really good point for like dynamics in songwriting and production. Because eventually James isn't going to say, "Oh, please God, wake me." He's going to say, "Oh, please God, help me." And everything after "God help me" in that song is just a progression. We've all heard One. Y'all know how it ends, man. But everything from that point on is just like, what's happening to me? But it's cool because, anyway, I've just been watching a bunch of reaction videos. It's these two kids. I can't believe I don't remember their names, man. They're young. They're like young kids, man. And same thing, same songs in a lot of cases. I watched them review One, and it's the best, man. The dude about 717 or something like that in the video. I love it because for it to be somebody's first time ever hearing that song, and it's such a genuine reaction when it gets to the end, and they just start doing the end of One, and they're both like real into this young couple. I can't believe I forgot their names, man. But I'll try to remember to comment this stuff later because these guys are great and it's really fun to watch them. But they're just like they like the song anyway. But it gets to the end and it's just starts building up to that riff that everybody knows, and they pause it. And it's so cool because he's like completely honest. He's like, "Man, this shit hard as fuck," and I'm like, "Yes, that is the best description of that song ever. I love it." And I also like that he picked it up on his first time ever hearing it. Like, good for you, man. But I was like, dude, I felt that way ever since the first time I heard that song, but I ain't never said it that well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is the most perfect description of that song ever, man.
Heck yeah.
It was great.
Man, got a quick breaking news to report that Michael McDowell, driver of the number 34 Ford, has won the Daytona 500, and I can just imagine that someone is in the NASCAR suite doing the Stephen Colbert from Strange Little Candy. God damn it! Because I know that's not who they want to win.
That ain't
Why keep our rain gun?
That ain't who anybody had.
Their top five is Michael McDowell, Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and Kevin Harvick. Any one of those four behind him there have been okay, fine, but Michael McDowell wins. People that follow NASCAR have heard of him, but that's going to be hard to sell T-shirts.
people that really follow NASCAR and his family, they've heard of him. But other than that,
do yourself a favor, and I'm sure it's on YouTube to Google the Strangers with Candy Stephen Colbert reaction to "You have a new kid in class." That's all you need to see.
please take the man's advice on that because it's definitely worth your time. Also, while you're out there, man, you can Just type in Dewey Cox rehab. That'll come up.
brother.
I've watched that 10,000 times this week, man. So if you don't know what the hell we're talking about when we go tall and powerful, you'll find out it's in there.
Have yourself a good time.
Oh God, I don't know why I think that's so funny, but I love it, man.
Need more blankets and less blankets.
God, that actress in that scene, man. I'm hoping that one day she will be given a comedic breakthrough role because she's funny as crap in the 4 seconds she's in that movie. But I also love that he needs more blankets and he needs less blankets. And the doctor's like, I think you're right. All of that is so stupid. I think you're right.
For some reason.
Dude, I love stupid stuff. Like going back to the Yes in Wayne's World, I love like stupid reaction stuff like that. Just cracks me up, man.
That's what's going down, man.
It's totally what's up, man.
Y'all be cool.
Dude, thank you for watching. Have a good one, y'all.
This is cause and effect. I gotta go. I'll see y'all. Bye.